Do, 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 do. Good morning, one. Good morning, all. RT Bear here, coming to you live from Hack Shack Studios. Hope you all had a great weekend. I did. Had some friends from Austin come by, stay for the weekend. We had a good time. We went and saw Sammy Hagar and friends at the Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion. It's like 5 minutes from the house, man. It was so cool. Like it was zero effort. Just like hop in the car, drive 5 minutes, and boom, you're watching Sammy Hagar and friends. And it was a great show. It was a great show. It was a hot night, but we didn't stop it from from having a good time. Stop us from having a good time, I should say. So it was me, my friends, my friend Phil, his wife, and Pamela went. And we had a good time. We had a good time drinking beer and listening to some good old rock and roll. It soothes the soul, from what I hear. I reminisce about the days of old and that old time rock and roll. Yeah, so it was a good time. It was a good time. And we got out of there easy because it was 5 minutes from the house. It's a smaller venue. If there's any of my California buddies out there, there used to be a venue called, what was it called? Irvine Meadows. And it was kind of it's an outdoor amphitheater. And this is about a third of the size. So it's got a grass area and everything. This had like a tent over it. So I would imagine when the sun is barreling down, the tent is good. But actually, I think in the evening time, it works against it because when the breeze comes through, it's all trapped under the tent. So it's kind of like a microwave. You just kind of cook under there. Oh man, we're getting some people in. So we got Praetor 7. Good morning. Yeah, right back at you. Got Past Master Dan. Good morning, chat and art. Yes, indeed. You guys chime in. This is an interactive show. I do have, I don't know, it's not quite a review. It's not quite ranting about Deadpool 3. It's just some observations. So I'm gonna get into that in a bit. We saw the movie over the weekend. Phil and I took off. He's a big comic book person as well. And man, all I can say, like up front, that is a weird ass movie. That movie is out there. Yeah, it is not grounded or rooted or in any kind of reality. That movie is definitely out there. But I will say that there is no woke, there's no messaging, there's nothing like that. I mean, there's a couple jokes at Disney and Marvel's expense, so whatever. But it's none of those things. And I will say it's entertaining. It's strange, it's out there, it's weird, but it is entertaining. It will take you on a journey for sure. At its very least, it will take you on a journey, whether you're ready or not. You know how they used to say when they would talk about movies, it's like, buckle up, it's going to be a wild ride. It's a roller coaster. This is that. Definitely. Marcus Killigrew with his new wrench, his shiny, brand new wrench. You've been knighted, my friend. Past Master says, I put a fan in the attic to push out superheated air. House was too warm, having a heat wave. I wonder did it work? We have I don't have a fan up there, but we do have those rotating things that kind of lift the hot air out. And I've never seen anything like this before, but in Texas, right at the top of the roof, they have like little vents all the way across the side, and then the main roof starts after that. So I guess that's designed to like release the heat so it doesn't just kind of stay in there and bake, so it can go out. But I'll tell you, it doesn't really help. because if I went up there right now, I don't think I would last 2 minutes. Yeah, so I feel your pain. Actually, we just replaced our one of our units, the upstairs unit. It went out in the heat of summer, so we had that replaced, and they were up. The repair people were up in the attic, and man, they were drenched. They were soaked. So we got Edwin the Ace, Volume 3, Hail Peeps. Indeed, let's get some peep action. I'm not a fan of Deadpool. I wouldn't say I'm a fan of Deadpool. I could give or take Deadpool, to be quite honest. It's not 100% my cup of tea, but I will say Deadpool 3 with Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, in all the chaos and the third wall breaking and all that nuttiness, he, as an actor, he rooted that, he grounded that movie and gave that movie some legitimacy, like some reality, and he anchored that film. It was really genius. I think Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman had a lot of chemistry, I guess, or they worked well off of each other. So that was definitely a high point. And the Wolverine story arc in that, and this is going to have spoilers. If you guys haven't seen the movie by now, I know I saw it late. I had 2 offers to hang out with friends, and both got canceled. So I guess the third time's a charm. So I finally got to see it, and yeah, it was, like I said, it was interesting. It's a lot to unpack. I think that's why I want to do this live stream. So maybe you guys can have some kind of input on this, because that movie was just, it was machine gun fire. It was all over the place. There were bullets flying. And I kept up. I mean, I got the story, but there was just so much happening that it was a little tough. We got leg kick 1 in the chat. How are you? Let's see. Past Master says pressurizing environment pushes hot air outside is hot too, but not trapped heat hot. Yeah, I think that's what that little. It's on both sides of the crest of the roof. There's like this slit, and you can see light through it and everything. I don't know how that works, because it rains. I really don't know how that stuff works. Oh man, Marcus is doing his job. Oodles and doodles and other stuff to you guys. We are running out of time, so if you guys want to back that book, get on it. Hey, we got Joe Bernardo. What's up, my friend? I'm sure Joe has a couple things he'd like to add to Deadpool. Deadpool 3, Wolverine guest star. Actually, it was a Wolverine story pretty much. Nobody important. Come on, man. Anybody check out the new Wolverine comic? Capullo's art is okay, not as good as it used to be. Yeah, I saw some of the Wolverine images, and the proportions on some of the drawing was kind of odd. And I mean, we all hold Greg to a high standard. So, but I've only seen the images that he's posted so far. We got Skeleton Core Comics. Good morning, CG. Hell Art, Hell Chat. Right back at you. We got Philip. Man, everything's a delay. Come on, give me some Philip. Wow, what is that? Yo, Art, how are you, brother? That is weird. My computer is taking its sweet ass time. All right. Well, I'm gonna show. Hopefully, my computer will allow me to do this. I'm going to show you the reason for the season, or the season for the reason. Let's do this. Let's share. What the heck was that? This is RT Bears, oodles of doodles and other stuff too. So we have 94 backers. We have 5 days left, and we are 12,926 actually. Let's play this video. This will give you more. Oh,
RT Bears Oodles of Doodles and Other Stuff Too is a 60-page, 9x12 hardbound book that will be printed on thick glossy stock paper and is a compilation of artwork from award-winning artist RT Bear. This book is filled with images that come from Art's Marvel, DC, Image, and Comicsgate work. That include convention doodles, commissions, creator-owned IPs, and pop culture subjects that Art has brought to life with his masterful draftsmanship. RT Bear's signature style is both lyrical and meticulously realized. The mastery of craft, seen in his work, owes itself to his 40 years in the comic industry, as well as viewing life through his own love of the art form itself. Fans of art prints have the opportunity to back one or both of the mini print tiers. Both are stunning collections of work that you can back individually or together as a bundle. RT Bear's Oodles of Doodles and Other Stuff Too. Back it now on Indiegogo.
yes, please back it now. We are 5 days out. I think sometime later today it'll be 4 days out. So we are running out of time for the live campaign. It will go in demand, you guys, but I'm going to cut right to the chase. This stretch goal right here, this 14K stretch goal, sad to say, if we don't hit this 14K by that 5th day, then we're not going to be able to get these 4 pages in the book. So we need to get, what is it? I don't know how many backers, but we need about 1,075 dollars worth of backing. So we have 5 days to do that. But yeah, I would love to do this to add the pages. But as soon as this closes, as soon as we get done funding in 5 days, that's later this week, I have to get these files ready for the printer. So whether we hit the stretch goal or not, I'm going to have to put the files together, the new book, with all the new artwork and everything in it. And I would like to add the 4 pages, but if we're not there, I can't wait in demand to get there. Possibly if we're close enough, I'll do it anyway, but it has to be really close, like 1 backer or 2 backers away, because I definitely need to make sure that I get the funding on this bad boy, because this one's close to the vest. I really, really want to get this book in your guys' hands. I'm very, very proud of it. And come hell or high water, I will get this book done and I will get it out to you. But hopefully with your help, we can get to that 14K and we can hit that stretch goal and we can get 4 new pages added. So we'll go from a 60-page book to a 64-page book, which will rock. We are going to have a lot of new artwork. Let me show you some of the new artwork. So these 2 pages right here, that's new artwork. The she pages are new artwork. That's going to be in the book as it is now. The 4 pages will be added, and it'll have some of these images. This is just a teaser to show you some of the images that will be in those 4 pages. So there'll be more than these 4 images. I just wanted to kind of show you what would be in those 4 pages, or some of the work that would be in there. So I have a ton of cool stuff to add to this book. And like I said, hopefully we can get that 14K and we can get that stretch goal, and I could put those 4 pages together for you and get those, get the files off to the printer and get a quick turnaround for you guys. We are hoping to get this bad boy out before Christmas time. So like I said, here's some of the pages here, little preview of the pages. We got some signed prints. We got this wonderful Del Keown Pitt print. We got the Meet Juju print to celebrate the upcoming 30 years of Black and White. So she's going to be the new big bad for the series coming up, volume 3. Sins of the Father. So you're going to get to see a lot more of Juju in 3 and 4 of Black and White. And then if this computer ever decides to, wow, this is really strange, I'll just go back here until I can get my full computer. This is weird. There's always something. There's always something. But you know what we can do? We can go back here and we can read quotes from a living legend. This is the really, really generous and really, really talented Kevin Nolan. So I've been jealous of Art's inking for many years. He really makes beautiful lines. If you isolate them and discard the context, they are still graceful and elegant. But he's not just an inker. He draws beautifully as well. I think that might explain half of the secret to his success. If he puts a shadow under a nose or adds a texture, he's sensitive to the underlying structure, so he doesn't make the mistakes you're likely to see from an inker who is just tracing the pencils. The other half, I have no idea. I've tried to make lines as elegant as his, and I fail every time. And you guys have said you got to have this Kevin Nolan piece in the book. And if we can get to that 14K, this will be in the new pages. So you got that to look forward to as well. So you guys, this is a great campaign. The book is beautiful. The files are collected already. So all I have to do is add some of the new artwork and a few of the new pages, and then it's off to the printer. So the printer is already ready for the files, and we're told that we can get a quick turnaround on the book. So everything's a go. We just got to get to that 14K, and all will be right with the world. And like I said, we're going to stay in demand for a little bit, but I'm trying to figure out how long that we should do that for, because I don't know. It's like because I'm going to launch Black and White 3 in October. So I'm not sure if they should overlap. I know that some people have like 2 campaigns kind of going simultaneous. So there would be the Black and White Volume 3. It would be live, and then the oodles would be in demand. And the reason I kind of want to keep the oodles in demand is because some of you have said you wanted to back it, but you don't have the funds yet. So I don't want anybody overextending themselves or anything like that. But if it's in demand, I'll give you more time. It'll be giving you more time to get, the funds together and everything. So I'm going to do that, but I just don't know how long I'm going to keep it in demand. So, but no nudes. Yeah, there's no nudes in the book. We could talk about Gambit. Yeah, we could do that. But first, you guys got to click this link, go over, and if you like what you see, back oodles of doodles and other stuff too. Hey, thank you, Philip. I do appreciate it. Why the AI voice when you're such a good speaker? Actually, Shanth and Jetty put that video together. So thank you so much, Shanth. He did a great job with it. We have a great, CG is a great community. I was on a live stream. He was listening in, and I forget what I was talking about. Oh, I was talking that because of our power outage, we lost power last month or something like that. I lost a week of promotion time for Oodles of Doodles, and it was like the 3rd week of the campaign or something like that. It was a crucial time, or the 2nd week of the campaign. And so when I got the power back, I was talking about that on live stream and said, it was a shame that, I lost a week kind of thing. So he put the video together. He didn't tell me he was going to do it. He just put the video together. He posted it in the CG green room, the King's green room, and said if you want to use it, it's for you, and hopefully it'll make up for some of that lost time. And I was like, whoa, that is really, really cool. Shanth is the real deal. He's a good dude. Skip Edwards. Speaking of good dude, we got a chat full of good dudes. All right. Skip Edwards got some fans. So let me see. We got some person says that's what Cecil's girlfriend looks like. It makes sense. It all is coming together. We got Timmy Mello. I think I've touched base with all of you guys so far, so we can get into the Deadpool stuff. So like I said earlier, we got Pixel. What's up, dude? Didn't miss much, just kind of touching base with everybody. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of this whole thing. So Deadpool. Holy crap, man. What an intense ride. Like this movie was so freaking weird and out there and just crazy. But when I say that, I don't mean it in a bad way. I just mean it was nuts. Like there was stuff just happening constantly. It's like no movie you've ever seen before. You can't really compare it to anything. Like I said earlier, Hugh Jackman, I think it's the best Wolverine. I'm going to say something, and I know you guys are all going to hate me, but I haven't seen Logan yet. So I heard that Logan's really, really good. But that aside, it's the best Wolverine I've seen, with the exception of, not seeing Logan, which is probably the best, Hugh Jackman Wolverine, depiction. But this right here, it was really, really well done. The Wolverine character definitely grounded the movie. It was really the crux of the story, and I'll tell you, Hugh Jackman just freaking nailed it. He was so damn good in this movie, and not taking anything away from Ryan Reynolds, because I mean Ryan Reynolds at this point is Deadpool. There's nobody else that could do that character. I don't think there's any other actor that could do it. So he really is Deadpool. I mean, they are synonymous. And I thought the new Wolverine uniform, the yellow and blue, was good. It was story oriented, and it wasn't just kind of a throwaway idea. It had impact, and it had emotion to it. And like I said, there's going to be some spoilers. So the reason he's got the outfit is they're tying a lot of this into the Fox stuff. Obviously, that's where Wolverine existed. So hold on. And so they're tying a lot into that. And so there was a lot of stuff about that they didn't have the comic book accurate, X-Men suits. And so there was that crack in the first movie, the first X-Men movie, about like, the black leather. And then Hugh Jackman's character said, what do you want us to have? Like, bright color spandex or something like that. So they kind of tied into that, like Wolverine's kind of contempt on some level with, I guess, being a superhero, being an X-Men, being like, I guess, kind of not flamboyant, but kind of having these more outlandish suits on and stuff like that. So they kind of tied it into that. So he's a rebel, and so he never put that suit on. In this reality, you guys, there's so much to cover. I'm not even going to try to give you the story. I'm just going to give you observations. So hopefully you've seen the movie and you know where I'm coming from. But I guess he had contempt. This version of Wolverine had contempt for the suits, kind of the X-Men. So he was kind of aligned with them, kind of not aligned with them, had a little bit of contempt for them. And so one of the things in this reality, he didn't help them. So they were under attack, and he didn't help them because of his contempt, because of his lack of teamwork, all this stuff. So this version of Wolverine is the worst version of Wolverine. After, I guess, all the X-Men were slaughtered, this is where, I mean, you can't really think too much about some of the details because it falls apart. It's like, wait a minute. So you're saying that all the X-Men died, and if Wolverine would have been in the fight, they wouldn't have died? He would have been able to save them all, or he would have just died with them? They're not really clear on it. So is it survival guilt? But they didn't really set it up like that. So it kind of seemed like he was thinking if he was there, he could have saved them, which that's about the amount that they give you in the movie. So it works if you don't think too much about it. But for me, I was just like, well, really? I mean, Wolverine is a cool ass character, but he's a fighter, like street level character. And the only reason he can hold his own with the X-Men is because of the healing factor. Because if he didn't have that, he wouldn't last 10 seconds, in a fight. So, that's the limitations of Wolverine. So I always thought Wolverine was like, my take on Wolverine is he's kind of the heart of the team, because he just kind of can take a licking and then he just keeps getting up. You know what I mean? Like, you can't keep him down. One, his personality, and then the healing factor as well. So it kind of works for the character. And so I always liked Wolverine because of that. And he just kept things moving forward always. And so this version of Wolverine, I guess, is a complete loser. So there's another part of the story that doesn't, if you think about it, doesn't really make sense. And maybe you guys in the chat can clarify these things for me, because like I said, this movie was rapid fire and it was all over the place. But it was the variance, the Time Variance Authority, which I haven't watched any of the Loki stuff, the Disney Plus stuff, because I don't like these kind of storylines. Having said that, Chrono Mechanics is all about stuff like that. And that's a book that I created. But the thing about Chrono Mechanics is it's farcical. It's broad humor. It's not meant to be taken seriously. But when you bring in like something like the Time Variance Authority into the Marvel Universe and you're kind of trying to make it serious, I don't think it really works. So there's this Time Variance Authority. And so, like every good Disney movie, the character has like a wish. He makes this wish. And so Deadpool literally makes a wish that he could be an Avenger. And so I guess the Time Authority somehow they figure out that he's got this longing to kind of have purpose and meaning. And also there's this thing that he wants to bring this purpose and meaning so he can look good to his girlfriend. Or I guess they're broken up. I don't know. Like I don't pay that much attention to stuff, but I guess they're kind of friends, but they're not like in a relationship together. So somehow Deadpool thinks if he can do something of substance, of purpose, that she would fall in love with him again or something, or redeem himself. It wasn't real clear. So anyways, he gets recruited by this Time Variance Authority. And so this guy kind of says, I'm giving you a purpose. And to be honest, it was such a cluster F explanation that I didn't really understand it. So I'm going to come back and see if you guys can kind of help clarify some of the stuff. I hear watch Loki. I think I understand enough about the Time Variance Authority. I mean, they're just like time cops, right? I mean, they just kind of keep the time stream running smooth, and if there's any variance or infractions. They try to police it. Let me see. That was a roller coaster. Meh, Logan. I thought he was good. Skeleton Core says Deadpool even takes a few small jabs at the woke mobs and such. Yeah, and Disney and Fox and all that stuff. Pixel Trader says, dude, watch Logan, especially because of the opening of this film. Yeah, I get that. That's kind of where, because there's a body buried, and I take it it's the Logan version of Wolverine. So I got all the references. Where was I though? Oh, the time variance authority. So there's this guy, he recruits Deadpool. He ties into like his emotional needs, like, you know, you want to be a hero, whatever, you know, you want some kind of substance in your life, I'll give it to you. Right? So he plots this thing out, and to be honest, I can't even repeat it. I don't really know what it was. It was something about a Wolverine or something like that. And like I said, I don't remember what the guy outlined. It was so kind of convoluted. I didn't really get it. People get survivor's guilt every day. Yeah, I like the 80s version of Wolverine, not what he was eventually turned into. Yeah, the 80s version was really cool. Yeah, it wasn't that though. Let me read this. Immoral flat or fat, 40 ounce. You got to remember, it's the POV of the character. What someone says isn't always what's happening. Yeah, it wasn't like I didn't understand it, but I didn't understand like at that point what that time authority guy was telling Deadpool to do. I didn't really understand it. So then he goes after Wolverine to this timeline, and I don't know, like Deadpool then gets his own idea, like he's gonna go get this Wolverine, because I think the guy said something about like your timeline is doomed, but I don't think it was like your timeline is doomed, you can save it though. Or was it like your timeline's doomed, you can save it, you got to recruit this Wolverine guy or something like that? Like it was kind of like I sort of got it at the time, but it seemed like it was just way too convoluted. So anyway, the point is, I don't really know what was really motivating Deadpool, other than he thought that this guy was kind of full of shit, and he wanted to save his world because his family is all that was in the picture. I get it. And so somehow Wolverine was the key to saving it. So then Deadpool goes on this time jump, boom, 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 through all these times. So we get to see all these alternate versions of Wolverine. So we get to see, you know, all these cool like little cameos of Wolverine from the comics of the past, which was fun. It was cool. Let me see. Timmy says we will get to the Gambit stuff. They used to work for Kang the Conqueror under the persona of He Who Remains Oblivious. That changed since Kang is no longer a thing. Obviously, that changed. He Who Remains, obviously, that changed since Kang was no longer a thing. That doesn't help. Okay, let's see. Pixel. I'm going to try to get to this because this was like I got what motivated Deadpool. I just didn't get the details of what that time authority guy was saying. That's just the surface of the TVA story. they did a good job building out some lore around how they were created and whatnot. It gets pretty deep. It just really liked how Loki's character evolved. Yeah, yeah, I may or may not watch it. I understand what the time variance authority is. I understand all that stuff. I just didn't understand what that guy was saying to him. Like, because there was somehow like the destruction, like he was selling Deadpool on some kind of idea. And then I think he said, your universe is already doomed, or something like that. And so then that's when Deadpool went rogue. Like, he wasn't going to carry out that guy's agenda, and he was going to do his own thing based on kind of what this guy had already told him, which was like the key was Wolverine. So, excuse me. The pruning of timeline plays heavily into the Loki season 1. The Descendants, what is that? Desecrates Logan's grave. I got that, which is symbolic to Marvel dragging Jackman out of retirement. Yeah, I got all the symbolism. I got all that, But anyways, I'll move on because I still don't really get it. But it was what starts the whole thing. So you kind of get the sense that this time variance guy is probably not on the up and up. There's some kind of bomb that's planted. So apparently what you guys are saying is the bomb, I guess, isn't even that notorious or bad. It's kind of like there's bad storylines, so they just kind of blow it up. I have the same thing in chrono mechanics. We call it like it's like rebooting time. So it's like a computer that reboots time. So it goes back to the primordial ooze. So it doesn't get rid of the planet or anything, or the timeline per se. It just gets rid of everything, and then it has to start all over again and evolve again because of the problem. So I understand these ideas. But anyway, so then, Deadpool's convinced that he's got to get Wolverine. So he goes and tries to recruit all these different Wolverines, and they don't want to have anything to do with him, right? So he finally gets to the one Wolverine. I thought what was funny is they did give, I thought they exaggerated a little bit, but they gave you the smaller, stature Wolverine, but this one was kind of like a dwarf. He wasn't even like, he was smaller than the comic book Wolverine. But anyway, they did do that. And so he finally finds this one Wolverine that he feels like he can get through to, or whatever it is, or that this guy will play ball with him. So then this is the Wolverine that is in the movie. So this is a Wolverine that's on the rocks. He is the worst Wolverine of all time. He let the X-Men die, blah, 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 blah. So he's carrying around all this guilt, and he just has a death sentence, right? Or a death wish. Let me see. Maybe you guys can help clarify. Yeah, the TVA guy was trying to build him up with all the heroism promises, but ultimately wanted him as a hired muscle. And then he drops the news that he can't go back to his own timeline, doomed. Okay, so I got it. But I'm like, why did you tell him the other part? Like, you should have told him that his timeline was doomed. Because to be honest, that TVA guy, he was the main bad guy. He was the bad guy. Like it wasn't that Cassandra, is that her name? Nova, Cassandra Nova. She was a bad guy, but it was like both of them were bad guys. But he was kind of, I think, more the main bad guy, actually. They are trying to wrap up the multiverse universe to bury a bad time in the MCU. They want to get to the Doomsday story. Doom will be Victor Von Doom variant of Tony Stark will kill Kang. Yeah. It sounds like you're just creating more problems to me. I would have just ignored it and moved on. I don't think they had to make a whole, because I mean it was very clear that what they were doing is they were saying goodbye to the Fox Marvel stuff. I mean, they were definitely saying goodbye to that because Marvel is owned now by Disney. So Disney has all the Fox properties. So that's kind of what was going on. And yeah, I got all those things. I thought it was a decent idea. They still really haven't got rid of these multiverses and all that other stuff. They said that it's kind of dumb and it's stupid and all that other stuff. So they made fun of it, but other than that, it didn't seem like they really solved too much, or maybe it's the beginning of trying to solve these problems. And it was entertaining. The only problem with trying to solve like things like this is sometimes they'll solve the problem, but they're just not entertaining. You know what I mean? So you're asking people to pay money to go see these movies, and all that other stuff. So you have to do your best to make sure that these things are entertaining. So I thought this multiverse stuff was stupid as soon as they entered it into the universe, because once you enter time travel, then and multiverses and all this stuff, then there's no consequences. There's no repercussions. There's no ramifications. There's nothing. So anything could be kind of fixed, changed, altered, all this stuff. And I just think that that's not a smart way to go. Does he at least smoke a cigar? He might have at the very beginning in the bar, but I don't think he did. But you know what? I mean, this is an R-rated movie, so you also, I'm pretty sure that Logan was R-rated. So I do think that letting Wolverine be Wolverine is a smart idea, because he's not a G-rated character. He can be a PG character, but you have to be real careful. Like, you have to make him edgy, but not just his attitude. You got to have him do edgy stuff. But the problem is he's got stabbing utensils, like he's got claws, and most of the time he can't really use them because he'll kill somebody. So it's like one of those things, like he's got these weapons, but he really can't use those in any real effective way. So in this movie, they really showed not only that he has claws, but that he's willing to tear somebody to pieces with them. You know what I mean? Like, without remorse. So one of the things that they did in this movie is they kind of, and also this wasn't a good Wolverine, so they can hide behind that. You know what I mean? Like, they can say, oh, well, this was a bad version of Wolverine, so that's why he did all these things. Like Deadpool, they never had those problems because he was always the same character. Like, they didn't try to make him a G-rated character or PG, 13 or whatever it is. He was always an R-rated character. So there was none of that. But like, Wolverine was kind of like in these two different universes, right? And so they did take advantage of the fact, and I think they did in Logan probably as well, but I don't think Logan got quite as graphic. I don't know, but I don't think it got quite as graphic as this movie did, because holy crap, man. There were two major fights between Wolverine and Deadpool that did not hold punches, and they both really got their licks in. And I think the cool thing is you could only do that with these two characters. You know what I mean? So I feel like, as far as putting Deadpool and Wolverine together, every creative idea that you could imagine, they did in this movie. You know what I mean? Like, it's all there. So as far as that's concerned, I think you get a great Wolverine, just stabbing, chopping, all kinds of craziness. So I thought that was cool. There was a lot of close-up fighting, with Deadpool and Wolverine. There was one in like a minivan, which was pretty interesting, like a close proximity fight, and it was good. They killed, or they fought. Spoiler: they fought a bunch of Deadpools, like variants of Deadpool, and so that was just a nonstop, like blood fest, and I mean, it was a good depiction of Wolverine. They gave it enough heart. The Deadpool stuff there was a heart hook, but it wasn't quite played up as much as the Wolverine one. So it really, to me, it felt more like a Wolverine movie. I mean, it was kind of 50-50 as far as screen time in the movie, but I think Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, for me, stole the show. Like Deadpool's always Deadpool. So, there is substance to the character, but they have to give it a specific beat, because he can't be the guy that has, I don't know, a heart all the time. Like, they can't play that angle. So they have to give it moments where, it comes out in moments, where this heart comes out and the character will get real and stuff like that. But for me, the first movie was the best as far as Deadpool. I would rate the Deadpool movies first, second, third, in that order. The second one is when they started going off the rails with like time travel, things like that. And this movie felt like anything they wanted to throw into the mix, they did. And so there was this like Mad Max reality, right? So it's like in the Chrono Mechanics, like Chrono Mechanics has all these elements into it. I think it's much better. But so there's this like dead zone. There's this time free or multiverse dead zone. And so it's kind of like I said, it's kind of like Mad Max. And so they find themselves getting thrown into this world, right? So they get attacked by all of the like Fox, like villains, like mutant villains that come in, and they meet what's his name, the actor that played Chris Evans. So they meet Chris Evans, and so in the Deadpool reality, like Deadpool knows about the Avengers and all this stuff, right? And so he sees this guy, he's in a cloak, and spoiler, you guys, he thinks that this Chris Evans is Steve Rogers. And so he's like, thank goodness, like Captain America is going to save the day kind of thing. And then it turns out that he's Fox character. He's the Human Torch. And so the Human Torch has been living in this world. Somehow he survived. How, I don't know. And also the way they show him meet his demise in this film, it's like, what the hell, man? Like, it's like, how did you live this long? And so anyway, the Marauders are like Pyro and Toad and a couple of the other evil mutants. And so, you see, the big reveal is Flame On. And so, the Captain America character who you think is Captain America becomes a Human Torch. And so it's like, oh, that's kind of cool, and so then he starts fighting, and then Wolverine and Deadpool just watch him get his ass kicked by Pyro of all characters. I'm thinking, as far as like status or stature, like, you just had the Human Torch get beat by pretty much a zero villain. And so anyway, the evil mutants capture the three guys. They bring them back to Cassandra Nova, and she's been living out of the skull or body of Giant Man. And so it's a cool visual. Like I said, they're just playing on everything. So it's weird after strange. Like there's just all kinds of odd stuff. So Cassandra Nova is the daughter, or not the daughter, but the sister of Xavier. Like they were twins, something like that. And she's the evil twin, right? So the mutants bring these guys to her. The Human Torch tells, Deadpool and Wolverine that she's the biggest bad of them all. She's horrible, blah, blah, blah. And so then he get there. And so then Deadpool, this is one of the things I did have a problem with. He didn't seem to care about anybody. And so this guy that's willing to fight with him and everything, the Human Torch, he starts ratting him out to this Cassandra Nova for absolutely no real reason. And so she just kills him in the most god-awful way. And so I just think, like, if you're going to have the Human Torch, have him die with his boots on, or like in some cool way. But they just kind of played it all for laughs. And so anyways, he's gone in like I said, the most horrible way. And so you get the sense that this Cassandra Nova is no threat. Well, that Wolverine and Deadpool are no threat to her. Like she could do anything. She could kill all those people in a heartbeat. And so then you're like, okay, how are these guys going to beat her? Somehow some stupid thing happens. Wolverine gets them out on like some kind of like rocket jet boot of something that's sitting there. It's like it's the dumbest thing. It's like Looney Tunes, man. And they just go flying off, and now they're free, and so then some more Marauders pick them up, and then you find out that these are also like Fox characters. So you got Elektra, you have Blade, you have Gambit. Here's Gambit for you now, Philip. And then who was else? Oh, they had X-22 or whatever. The little girl Wolverine. She's grown up now, and I guess her Wolverine. I don't know. I don't know why she was abandoned to this place. I don't know why any of these characters were put into this weird time, desolate place. But anyways, they're there, and so they're just barely staying alive, right? Because I mean, why wouldn't they stay away from her? I also don't know why they would even want to fight her. Just stay away from her and exist until you're gone, till your days are over, because unless she's hunting you, just live and let live, because they're not going to be able to beat her. Most of these characters are kind of street level fighter characters. And they also said, like, I guess that like Silver Surfer was here at some point, like she decimated Silver Surfer, like they show, like it was like these really powerful characters that this Cassandra Nova just did away with when they were thrown to this place. Once again, I don't know what motivated any of this stuff, why they were thrown there, what any of that was about. Like, this is one of those movies, like, I guess if I saw it again, maybe there's a brief mention of why and how and all this stuff. But as far as I was concerned, it wasn't there. Not that it really needed to be there, because this movie moves so fast and there's so much craziness going on. It's like logic and reason, it doesn't really matter. But anyway, this is my take on it. So for right or wrong. And so anyway, so then there's that. They're like, okay, we could change this timeline, whatever. We could save this timeline. So then these guys, I guess, are all like, they just want to redeem themselves and go out, in a blaze of glory, in an Alamo type style, so they're like, we're in. And so then the joke about, I thought the Gambit was okay. I thought the actor was pretty cool. I thought they had him fight in a decent manner. They made fun of his accent, because it was a heavy accent. So of course, Deadpool had to make fun of him. And so then Wolverine doesn't want to be involved. He still hasn't learned. You got to be a team member. So he's still in that same, loser Logan kind of mode. And then that X-22 comes out. And then she kind of says, I'm in. And they all know it's like a death mission. None of them are going to live. So then I guess Wolverine kind of then has to change of heart, but you don't realize that. So then they play him as the ace in the hole, but not even in a cool way. They just have him kind of come out of this van in like slow motion fashion. I guess it's supposed to be funny. And then Wolverine comes out of the back, trying to look cool. But I thought, like, if you were going to use Wolverine as an ace in the hole, you hide him, until like it's appropriate moment to then have him do something, sneak up on Cassandra Nova or something. And so the idea is the only way they could keep Cassandra Nova out of their heads was they had to have this helmet from the Juggernaut. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. She could still decimate you in a heartbeat. Like they showed, like she didn't have to get in your head. She could just skin you alive. Like she made Wolverine she put him into the earth. Like she was doing fantastic shit. So it's not just like, mental powers. Like she has all these other powers too. So I would be more worried about those powers than the mental powers, because she said she has to touch you to do the mental powers. So it seems like it'd be easier to keep her away from you with the mental part than the actual physical stuff, because she doesn't have to touch you to do that. Like when she killed the Human Torch, she just goes boom and skins him alive. And it's like, holy shit, how do you fight something like that? But anyway, in true fashion, movie fashion, they forget about all that stuff. Yeah, Wolverine would beat Pyro. I mean, Human Torch would beat Pyro. Yeah, it was really dumb. Let me see. The fourth wall part of this Human Torch thing cracks me up, and is why Deadpool can't be an Avenger movie. Otherwise, he's going to recognize RDJ and Tony. Yeah, they can't do it. And also, there's a bigger reason they cannot bring Deadpool into the Marvel Universe, the one that they've already established, is because Deadpool is an R-rated character. The MCU stuff is not. Tonally, you cannot do Deadpool in the Marvel Universe stuff. You can't do it. You would have to either bring Deadpool to that level tonally, or you would have to bring the Avengers to the Deadpool level, which means you'd have to make these movies rated R. So moving forward, Avengers movies and all those, they would have to be rated R. So I think that's the biggest problem. But what I think they should do moving forward, and they should have done anyway, but they wouldn't have got this story out of it, is Deadpool should exist on his own anyway. So all those characters, like there's Colossus and all those X-Men characters, they should just stay in that universe. They shouldn't cross over. So maybe that's what they're doing. So they're saying goodbye to the Fox ties. He stayed in his timeline at the end of the movie. So that Wolverine is in his timeline now. So there's all the Fox X-Men characters, and they're all there. So that Fox universe X-Men is there in the Deadpool franchise. But I don't think it can exist in the other. There would have to be major tonally tonal differences. They could bring him in. I mean, it's not that hard to write in like, oh, he's now part of this or whatever. But tonally, it's impossible. One would have to give. Otherwise, you'd be compromising these characters, right? Like you'd either have to compromise the X-Men, I mean the Deadpool, or the Avengers. So from what I hear, like with Tony Stark as Doom and all that, and then he kills what's the character's name, the Timeline guy that they were going to make these movies about. But anyway, you know, I think they're just going to have some, I hope they're going to have some last fun and then just do away with this multiverse nonsense. Because one, it's a bad idea. There's always going to be contradictions. There's always going to be problems story-wise with characters. There's always going to be problems. And the main thing is there's no stakes. There's no problems. So if you could just go to another universe, oh, this Wolverine's dead, but he's alive in another universe. They did that in this movie, actually. Then what does it matter? Nothing matters. So to the viewers, Wolverine is Wolverine, you know. I hope so too. I'm hoping to get a whole new X-Men cast. I used to not really like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, but this version in Deadpool, holy crap, man, he was so good. Yeah. Let me see. Pixel says he rats him out, but it doesn't show him talking trash. So the entire movie, you think Deadpool lied about him and got him killed. Is that little technicality that they show in the credits that he ratted himself out, that there was the Human Torch ratted himself out? Maybe, but it still doesn't ultimately look too good for Deadpool. And also, Deadpool got the other Deadpool killed for no reason at all. The good-looking one with the long hair with the dog. Like, that scene goes nowhere. Okay, so all the Deadpools are coming to attack, and so he kind of befriends our Deadpool, befriends this other Deadpool, because I guess in this time-free zone, there's a billion Deadpools, right? And so our Deadpool meets this guy. He doesn't wear the Deadpool mask because he's good looking and everything, but he's kind of a little bit more like kinder, gentler or Deadpool. And so he just kind of uses this character as a human shield just to get to this, from the safe place that they were behind a car over to a taco stand, which is another safe place. There was absolutely no reason to do that, to go from there to there. And he used this guy as a shield. And the only thing story-wise that comes out of it is that he gets the dog's owner killed so he could have the dog. So, there's that. But the one thing that they did in the first two Deadpools is he did go on like killing sprees and stuff, but it was usually like somebody that was attacking him or trying to hurt him. This guy was a good guy. The Human Torch was a good guy. Let me see what Timmy says. Gambit stole the scene when he was always on. Channing Tatum killed it. I thought he was really good too. Yeah. The accent was pretty good. And I thought the way they did the playing cards and all the effects and stuff were really cool. And I like the kind of time release explosions. So the cards would pop, pop, pop. There would be three of them. They would hit something and they would blow up like instantly, and then they would kind of a moment, and then they would blow up. I thought the effects were cool because you're always like, it's throwing cards. This is kind of a silly, like, how would you pull this off? But they did, and then they pulled the staff out, and the whole staff was powered. And I thought like the best stuff they did was, all those characters. It was like the Alamo moment. They all fought, and I think they lived. Did one of them die? I don't remember, but I think they all lived. So they fought, they did their job. I thought they were going to kill them all off, but they ended up living. And so each one of those Fox characters, Elektra, Blade, X-22, Gambit, which wasn't, but he was supposed to be in those movies. And then who else was in there? Oh my gosh, I know I'm forgetting somebody, but yeah, they were all really, really good in that. And it was neat to see Blade, because I think the Blade movies were R-rated, so you got to see like the killer, Blade fight and hurt and kill people. Yeah, hit that like. Thus why 20th Century Fox, Logan in the Sand, etc. Yeah, there was all the symbols. I mean, they were definitely, saying bye to that version of all the Marvel stuff. Because also it was pretty cool. Like they had all the outtakes of the early X-Men stuff, Fantastic Four, like all the early Fox stuff. In the credits, they had like little behind the scenes stuff, outtakes, things like that. It was pretty cool. And you realize like how young like Hugh Jackman was when he took that role. I think he works better as kind of a grizzled old guy. Yeah, Sue Storm would have been cool, but they couldn't play the dual identity thing. I mean, they definitely were definitely Mortal Kombat, like death of Johnny Storm. Yeah, I thought it was kind of punky the way they got rid of him, but complete garbage. I think it was a good, and especially in this day and age, I thought it was a good 2 hour. Put your mind in neutral and just enjoy the beautiful carnage that was the movie. I mean, it was nonstop. And I thought it was entertaining for 2 hours. I thought it was entertaining. Blade, Punisher, Deadpool, and all are. That said, Once Upon a Deadpool was PG-13 edit for the second movie and was great. So the first movie, Blade, Punisher, Deadpool, the first Deadpool were R-rated, and then Deadpool, the second one was PG-13. Oh, that's right. And then they did an R-rated version as well. Yeah, King was the character that I think it's going to be better just bringing in Doom. I thought I do like King in the comic books, but all this, it was too much. The time authorities and all that craziness, it was way too much. The Wolverine we should have gotten, yeah. But the thing is, there are writers and there are creative people that can get it right. So Marvel moving forward just has to find these guys and let them do what they're doing and stop micromanaging all of this crap and bringing woke and all this other junk into the films. Spike and Madness, what's up? Good morning, brother. Nice Pool. Was that what he was called? And yeah, Nice Pool deserved a healing factor. Oh, that's what it was, right? He didn't know he didn't have a healing factor. But still, there was no point for him to go from one point to another. Yeah, that's right. So he used him as a human shield and thought he had a healing factor. And then they played upon that then he thought all the other Wolverines didn't have a healing factor, but they did. I have a feeling that guy was that Nice Pool character. If he asked him for the guns, he probably would have gave them to him. This is funny. Skeleton Core says, Nice Pool was a self-professed male feminist. He did something bad. That's good. That's funny. Some person says the positive happiness of Nice Pool sickened Deadpool to his soul. He had to take him out. Yeah, he was hard. But you know what? Okay, the Nice Pool, I didn't know he had a name. Hated that guy every moment he was on screen. But I'll tell you, Deadpool, there were moments, man. He brought me right up to that point where I was just like, stop. I'm tired of watching you. He was extra annoying in this movie, Deadpool was. Zeno the Stoic, Wesley Snipes as Blade again. He was awesome. They should do a Blade movie with Wesley Snipes. There's no reason not to. He looked good. He moved good. There's no reason they shouldn't do it. I thought he looked better as an older guy. I like the gray accents and stuff. Yeah, I think you're right. There are some actors that just embody the character, and but having said that, like Hugh Jackman was never 100% Wolverine for me. So I was never that attached to him anyway. This movie, and I guess Logan, kind of redeems, him as Wolverine. And I'm not saying he was bad. I'm just saying I would like to see somebody that, I don't know, works better for me. And I don't even know what that would quite be. One thing, what not Fox, but Disney should do moving forward with these Marvel movies, if they're going to recast or they're going to get new people in, get young people, get Tom Holland age guys in there. And with the X-Men, there's no reason not to. If you bring it back to the early stuff, like the origin stuff, the school stuff, the original 5 or whatever it was, you could have them teenagers. And another thing about the Fantastic Four, if you bring them back, they've already ruined it. They've already ruined it. Okay. One of the things about the Fantastic Four movie that they did before this is they were young people. That was smart. That was a smart move. They should cast the Fantastic Four as young people, 20-something, early 20s. And then they go out in space and they get lost in space. So time continues, on Earth. And then when they come back, everything's different. So all their friends, everybody's aged out, but they're still kids. They're still freaking kids. So there's a physical difference between them and maybe some of the people that they knew, if they're still alive or whatever it is. You can do stuff like that. But I don't know, the cast that they got, they all look like older people. So they've already messed up the casting as far as I'm concerned, And I forget the guy that plays um, the Mandalorian or whatever, that guy. Like, he doesn't seem like a young guy to me. He doesn't seem like like he doesn't radiate intelligence, let's just say. I'm not saying he looks like a stupid guy, but he doesn't look sharp like I think Reed Richards should. I think Reed Richards should look like a smart guy. Like, you look at him and he just radiates this intelligence. And you can make him a younger guy. You could say like he was genius level at like the age 5 or something like that. You know what I mean? Because that's his superpower, is that he's super intelligent. I mean, he can stretch, but let's face it, he really is. His superpower is his intelligence. So anyway, they've already blown that. So let's see where they're going to go with it with the X-Men cast, because I don't see how they're going to do it. Yes, you guys, click this link, go back a book, do it today. We're five days out. I'll go over the campaign before it's all said and done. Since Blade ages so slowly, let's get him into a cyberpunk future, hunting cyborgs, vampire hybrids. Yeah. Yeah, Blade isn't an overly complicated character. Like, all you really want to do, all you want to see is like him kind of fighting superpowered vampires, I agree. Wesley was the only one to make their comic book character cooler than he was in the comics. Yeah. FF should be strictly science fiction. I agree. Take them out of the superhero realm. Have some superhero aspects, but make it mostly about science fiction. Some person, oodles of doodles, now with 20% more oodles. I like that. Timmy says, then Galactus zaps him into the cosmic with cosmic radiation. Let's see, Spike and Madness. No, keep the Fantastic Four in their time period. I'm sure that the beginning of the movie will have them in their time period. That's what was cool about the first Captain America movie, is it was pretty much in his time period. And also, like the Wonder Woman movie that DC did, they just followed suit with the Captain America movie. And I think some of those characters are better in their own timeline. I definitely think that Wonder Woman was better in her timeline. That second Wonder Woman movie, the trailer was so bad, I didn't even want to see it, and I still haven't seen it. Yes, I got it. Bringing up the past. Art thinks Ringo Starr is the best drummer. Hugh Jackman, not a good Wolverine. No one ever said Art had good taste. I had caveats. I was fair in my assessments of all those things. All right. You don't see intelligence from Pedro Pascal. Pascal. I'm not saying he looks like a dope. He just doesn't look overly intelligent. Like, I could see him as a fighter character. Like, what is he in that Gladiator 2 or whatever? Like, he's fine in that. If he was playing like Ben Grimm, maybe, but I don't really see him as like the intellectual type. And maybe I'm selling him short. Maybe he's that good of an actor that he can transcend that, but I'm not sure. I'm not so sure about that. Is he totally miscast? Well, good. I'm glad. I'm not the only one. So Andino Palacio, you're going to give me shit about that? You're going to defend Pedro Pascual as a good Reed Richards? Huh? You can do it? You can do it? I knew it. I knew it. You don't have the guts. You don't have the guts to defend Pedro Pascual as Reed Richards. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Right now, he is just backing off. He's over in a corner, sobbing himself to sleep. All right, let's go. All right. So I did that was kind of my take on everything. I think to wrap it up, I do believe that whoever was behind the Deadpool movie has a good idea of how to fix things at Marvel. So maybe with, like they said, like Robert Downey Jr. coming in to play Doom, and this is the only way it makes sense to me, is that he's still Tony Stark. So it's a what if Tony Stark was Doctor Doom. So if you're going to play up these timelines, all that other stuff, then you have the real Doctor Doom come in and clean house, fix everything, and then we start on the new Marvel Universe, or go back to the original Marvel Universe, or however they want to do it. But these multiverse things, they're just, I don't like them. And I think the average movie-going audience doesn't understand them. It's just too much. It's absolutely too much. So I thought they were already asking a lot just with all the movies and the crossover, like the first 10 years worth of Marvel Universe stuff. But then they introduced multiverse, and then they introduced like the TV show stuff. And I think it was just too much. It was too much for the average movie-going audience. And I don't think they thought it through quite as well as they should. So I think they really inundated at Disney Plus with a lot of the Marvel stuff. I think they really thought, Marvel, the executives and stuff, they thought this was going to be what their streaming platform was going to be. It was going to be all the Marvel stuff, and it was going to be Star Wars. And that's how they were going to make their fortune. And they just gave it to a bunch of people that had agenda and didn't quite understand what they were dealing with. I've said this before, the same type of idea. If I was Kevin Feige or somebody on the Marvel, like high up at Marvel, and a creator said, I have an idea, let's introduce the multiverse, I would have said, no, we haven't got there yet. Maybe put it in the back burner, but we haven't got there yet. So as far as, like the first 10 years, we ended with Endgame, so then let's build back up. And they never really built back up. Like, I didn't really have a problem with, all right, Tony Stark is gone, Steve Rogers is gone, but who do you replace them with? That's the biggest question. Like, do you keep them gone, or do you try to continue? Like, one of the ideas that when Superman was killed in the comic books is they gave it a year, like a year without Superman. So you got to see the world, not just who took his place, who stepped up, but you got to see the world without Superman. So what would have been interesting is to maybe spend more time with a world without Captain America, or a world without Tony Stark. Like, the Avengers don't have a leader. They don't have a leader type. What are they going to do? Are they disassembled? How do they come back together? Who brings them back together? All these things. I think these are good ideas. So I think they could have launched a series of movies I don't know who you would have led with, I don't know, Ant-Man, Falcon, Black Panther. I mean, I think that Chadwick Boseman could have continued the Avengers line without Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr., but sadly he didn't make it. RIP. So there's nobody really worthy of leading the Avengers. So you would have to actually, instead of all this stupid multiverse stuff, and if you were going to do these Disney Plus things, do like a world without. They kind of played at it, but do more of a world without Captain America. And I think that's what they're going to do with this new Captain America. Like, we need a new Captain, but they've already tried. They already threw that away in Captain America, or what was it, Falcon Winter Soldier. They've already thrown the idea away. They made it it was horrible. So scratch that idea. Yeah. Nice coverage art. Oh, what's the actor's name that did the cameo in the Doom as Reed Richards? He was better. He was way better. Like, I would watch a movie with that guy as Reed Richards. He's that guy from The Office. I don't know the actor's name. Let's see. Tony Stark as Doom sounds like they're being cheap with getting more actors. I think they need star power. And I don't think they should rely on Robert Downey Jr. I think that's why they got rid of those guys. One, they were aging out, and two, it was kind of inevitable. Like, you can continue in the comics in perpetuity with these characters because they don't age. It's a drawing, but in real life they age. So if you look at like the first Avengers or their first appearance in their movies, and then where they were 10 years later, even Chris Hemsworth, he was like a baby in that first Thor movie. So you can see physical signs of aging, which, for right or wrong, but you can't go another 10 years. You can't go 20 years with these same actors playing these characters. It becomes kind of ridiculous, right? But they, as in Marvel, Disney, understand they need star power. So you saw what happened when when Robert Downey Jr. took off the Doom mask and they announced it. People went ape shit. So, but you can't continue it. He's too old, even to play Doom. So what I think they're going to do is, this is going to be an alternate version of Doom. He's going to be Tony Stark. They better do that, because anything else is not going to work. And then he's going to kind of be a Doom for some storylines. What they'll do is they'll continue this alternate universe, and then they'll bring in, I think they're going to bring in the real Doom that they're going to continue with, and he's going to probably battle the Downey Jr. Doom, and that he's going to correct the timelines, because it seems like Doom would be a character that could do that, So let me see. Graham's work might be heavily inspired by his version of Doom. Well, we'll see. Yeah, he ain't cheap, but I don't think he's going to do more than 2 movies. And I think he'll be a villain. And then they'll bring the other Doom in as kind of like a gray area. Or they'll have him as a guy who thinks he's doing good, but he's not doing good, and brings on, somebody speculated that this Doom could be the one that brought, everything bad that happened in the Marvel Universe up to this point. I agree. Bucky should have become Cap. I think what they're going to do is they're going to super soldier the Falcon, but also, how many times are you going to play that beat? I think then it becomes stupid and dumb that whenever you want a superpowered character, you just have him, inject, the super soldier serum, which is kind of dumb. Let me see. Some person, they could have brought in other lesser known heroes, Great Lakes Avengers, for example. Yeah, or like what I was thinking is you have that guy who plays Hawkeye. You could have possibly done it with Black Widow, but you killed her. So you could have, I think he's good enough of an actor that he could possibly have been the leader of the Avengers moving forward. He's a senior member. He's got tactical abilities, how to fight, how to stage a battle, all that kind of stuff. He's not necessarily a frontline guy, but you could make him a tactician, a general type of character, but not necessarily kind of like a Captain America where he could get right in the thick of things, because he's not a super soldier. He's not super powered. Yeah, let's get the reason for the season, oodles of doodles, and other stuff too. We got a campaign, you guys. We're 5 days out. We are 94 backers. We are 12,926. We are a stone's throw away from 13K. So if you guys are thinking about backing, back this week within the next 5 days, because if you do, we can get to this 14K. Where is it? 14K stretch goal. And like I said, I'm going to have to, as soon as we end the live campaign, I'm going to have to pull the stretch goal down if it's not funded, because I got to get this stuff ready for the printer. So I need to know if I got those 4 pages or not. So this financially is very close to the vest. I want to make this the best book I can possibly do, and we're so close to hitting this 14K stretch goal, you guys. All we need is a little backing love, and maybe if you guys have already backed, or because of Bidenomics you're a little strapped, which is fine. I completely understand. Maybe you could share it out. Maybe you could get on your social media and let people know that this campaign exists. It's all good. I do appreciate all the support, and thanks to everybody that has backed so far. This is a great looking book, you guys. This will be the second printing of it. I have a few for myself from the first printing. So we're going to do this, and all these books are going to be signed and numbered. So they're going to be limited and a very, very collectible. And we got some killer prints, you guys. Let me see if my computer will let me show you the prints now. All right, there's the pit print, which is available in 2 different tiers. We got the Juju, which is available in 2 different tiers. Let's see. Oh, yes. We have set A, which are 3 of the mini prints, 8.5 by 11. We have Red Sonja. We have the cute, adorable Mary Jane. And we have the sexy, alluring Wildcats voodoo character. And like I said, all come with books that are signed and numbered. All the prints will be signed as well, you guys. So we got set B, 8.5 by 11. We have Nightwing. We have Harley Quinn looking cute as a button. We have the movie, kind of my movie likeness of Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman here. A little hybrid of my comic book style and realism. And so then we have that comes with the book as well. So you can get me to draw black and white in the book as a head sketch on the flyleaf. So you can get black or white or both together. And so the commissions, I was hoping we could move a little bit further, faster. And And if we can hit that stretch goal sooner, I may add, like maybe in the last couple days, a commission. So I'm not sure if it's going to be 11 by 17 or a few of the 9 by 12 head sketches. So if you guys missed out on those, stay tuned. But I kind of want to do one thing first. We really do need to get to this 14K. And this is it right here. So this is some of the artwork that will be featured in the 4 new pages. So I just wanted to give you a little heads up, little tease of what you can expect in those 4 new pages. So like I said, we're a little over $1,000 away from 14K. And we're just maybe a backer or two away from 13. So hopefully we can get to that 13K and we can continue moving forward. Like I said, we only have 5 days to get to that 14. So any help is appreciated, and backers are always welcome. There's plenty of room for more backers here. So thanks again to everybody that supported this and everybody that's backed this campaign. I do appreciate it. I am nothing without you guys. You guys are everything. You support the stuff, and I do appreciate it. And like I said, I can't do this without you. So that's cool. Let's see, where are we? The Great Lake Avengers. That's still funny. All right, we got Torchbearer Studios. The new Captain America movie looks bad. It looks really bad. Should have been Bucky who took up the shield. Yes. Then they wouldn't have to do all this craziness. Like that's the problem with everything that they've done so far. Like bringing in woke, bringing in stupid ideas, all this stuff. It's because you have to be stupid now. You have to tell stupid stories to fix things. Like Deadpool was entertaining, but it was really designed to fix things, to get things going where they should. So it's a setup. It's like an entertaining way. Hopefully they'll all be entertaining way to fix the multiverse crap, all of this stuff, because it's not that interesting. It doesn't work, and they got to ditch it. You got to create something of substance. You need to rebuild the Marvel Universe. You need to do one and dones like you did with Iron Man, with Thor, with Captain America. You need characters. You need to create characters that people care about again, and create them out of whole cloth. Get some really charismatic actors, get some good writers, find some good IP, and then build it all up again. I think that's the only chance you have, because you're trying to tie it to the old, and it's done. You did it. You called it Endgame. You ended it. You let those actors go. You ended it. You didn't transition into any kind of new stuff while they were still there. Nothing. You just kind of ended it. Like you were tired of everything. You just want to end it. And then like Feige just wanted to turn it over to a bunch of, I don't know, woke people that didn't care about comics and just wanted to, use it for their little platform to spew division and whatever craziness. But yeah, like bringing in Bucky, it writes itself. It's perfect. It's Captain America with personality flaws. And I think what they could have done to make him endearing is he's got that bad wiring. So every once in a while, he's got to fight that bad instinct. They shouldn't do it a lot, and then give it a good reason to happen. But then he's more of a complex Captain America. He's more complicated. So he has all that I'm a man at a time stuff like Steve Rogers did, but he also has this bad wiring from the Soviet super soldier campaign and all that stuff, those bad things that they did to the guy. And it just fits. It just works. So, and he knew Steve Rogers as a kid, like they grew up together. So they have the same morality. They have like the same upbringing. He's not quite as altruistic as Steve Rogers was, but he might even have more of like a street sense, a way to do it. Because like Steve had a lot of heart. Like he was willing to just go down with the shit. You know what I mean? Like he was taking on guys like early on before the Super Soldier that he couldn't beat at all. But now you got like this guy Bucky who could beat them at the time. So there's a slightly different perspective, and Bucky to me has just as good of heart as Steve did, just in kind of a different way. Because he was always looking after his buddy, and then the cool thing was like his buddy then, when he got the power and the ability, he went after him and saved him. So that all that stuff worked, man. It was just so good. Let me see. Skeleton says, in the trailer, Falcon does a lot of superhuman feats without being superhuman, like throwing a marble table down at 30-yard hallway and surviving flying through an F-35. Yeah, I think that room, they're going to get into super soldier shit because there's that guy that they brought in that Falcon and Winter Soldier, that he was the original, super soldier and wasn't treated well and all that stuff. So he's got an axe to grind. So it looks like he's going to be the villain or a partial villain or whatever. And so it's like they have to work so hard just to get the Falcon to a Captain America stature. And they already had the character that was a natural fit. Bucky was there even before the Falcon. You know what I mean? And the Falcon is a great character unto himself. And you could still do the Captain America Falcon stuff. I thought they really blew it with that. I don't think they're ever going to get that Captain America thing back. And that Iron Man with that Iron Heart, that girl has no charisma. Her origin is stupid. I saw some trailer where they're playing, like they say they want to be like they, as in, the powers that be want to be inclusive, and they want to try to break stereotypes, and they want to be these altruistic people and trumpet the underdog and all this crap, right? I think it's raining. It's dumb. Because what they're doing is they're playing in the same stereotypes. Okay, like the Winter Soldier and Falcon. Oh, Falcon's broke. He's destitute. The white man didn't give him scraps. Tony Stark didn't take care of him. The banks are foreclosing on his father's business. All this stuff. It's like, it's unnecessary. Why are you doing this? He's the Falcon. He saved the universe. He's an Avenger. Why is he broke? Why did Pepper Potts and Happy Hogan, why did nobody help him? Why isn't he living in the Avengers mansion? Why is any of this stuff happen? It's so contrived in the worst of ways. And so they're doing the same thing with that Ironheart. Like, oh, she gets kicked out of school. Well, don't be a punk, right? This is a prestigious school. Play by the rules. Don't be a punk. So she gets kicked out of school. So, oh, poor her for being an asshole. She gets kicked out of this prestigious school, right? And we're supposed to feel bad for her. Don't be a jerk, right? And so then they kind of show her destitute. And so she's scrounging up things from the street, from dumpsters and things, to try to put an Ironheart suit together. And we're supposed to think like this has some kind of nobility to it. Like this is a good thing. It's like listen, Marvel, listen, writers, listen, you know, agenda. You're playing into the same stereotypes. You're playing into that this person, like, okay, you know, she has friends in Wakanda. She's saved the universe. She's fought side by side with Avengers. Why is she destitute? Would they let her be destitute? Why wouldn't she live in Wakanda? Why wouldn't she be set up better? Why wouldn't she still have tech? Why wouldn't she have any of these things? Why is she dumpster diving for tech? It's weird. It's really, really weird. It's like if you're as smart as Tony Stark, you know what I mean? You had resources. Tony had his dad's company. He had resources. He had millions of dollars. You have the same. You befriended, I forget what's her name, the female Black Panther. So you're friends with her. You hung out with her. You've been to Wakanda. What's the problem? You know, like, why is this stuff happening? It's contrived. It's going so far out of your way to try to create something that had a natural fit. You know, have her be and also, to me, why is she motivated to be Ironheart? Why? Why does she want to do that? Like, Tony Stark had a whole movie that motivated him, why he put on the Iron Man suit, why he continued to put on the Iron Man suit, all that stuff. As far as I'm concerned, they didn't really set her up in any way that's substantial that she would even want to be Iron Man or continue to be Iron Man, or why Iron Man to begin with. It's all really dumb. And you think if Stark Enterprises knew that there was a girl like that in the world and she wanted to be Iron Man, you don't think Pepper Potts or Happy Hogan or one of these people that are running the business wouldn't seek her out and try to, I don't know, see what she's all about at the very least, see if she's worthy of helping? This is just stupid. I could write these stories in my sleep. They're really dumb and they're contrived. And also they're very racist. I'll just say it, they're very racist. You know, you have the Falcon being downtrodden by the man, you know, why? Why? Wouldn't it play against the convention if he lifted himself up, that the Falcon character is what enabled him to be this really successful guy? Why not? Why couldn't he be leading the Avengers, or at least trying to get the Avengers back together? Why couldn't he be that guy? You know what I mean? Why couldn't he be running the Avengers? I don't know. It's just stupid. He's poor. He's destitute. He can't help his sister. It was so dumb. And then they're playing the same thing with this Riri Williams. It's like, oh, she's dumpster diving for her tech. She's been thrown out of college. It's like, the character didn't work in Black Panther. She's not going to work in her own series. They should have already learned this character isn't going to fly. Yeah, there was a natural progression. Yeah, they're going to give the Falcon upgrades. It's the dumbest thing, because they've already played that beat how many times in the MCU? Weren't they even saying like that Hulk in the MCU, not the Ang Lee stuff, but in the Marvel universe, wasn't it like the super soldier serum that created the Hulk? I thought there was something like that, because I thought that what's his name? Forget the General Ross was trying to get the super soldier serum, or whatever the hell that first movie was about. Yeah, so they did it. You got Steve Rogers, you got Captain America, you got Bucky. Those are three. Okay, so now you're going to have Falcon. You have that other Captain America that they used in that Falcon Winter Soldier. So there's already been five different super soldier type characters. So dumb. So dumb. Let me see what Past Master says. Bucky was played when he turning seems natural. He's always in the background and acts hesitantly. Yeah, so you have a character that has that past and he's unsure of himself, but you now have him as Captain America. So he's not Steve Rogers like they said in the movie, trailer for the new Captain America movie, but he's kind of not a character that's, well, he's kind of looking for redemption. So, he's got some of the bad programming that he's fighting. And so I think he could be a very interesting Captain America. He knows what it's like to sacrifice for God and country. He's a soldier. Captain America's a soldier. I guess Falcon is as well. So at least on some level that works. Let me see. They're running out of feet. They need more. Skeleton Core says Riri Williams browbeat her teacher into telling her, "You can't be Tony Stark," in order to have an oppressor to center her life on overcoming. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, Riri Williams is her own worst enemy. And if you want to play it that way, then play it that way. Like her redemption arc is that she can't get along. She couldn't get along in school. She can't get along with the Wakanda people. She can't get along. Like she's just this lone wolf that doesn't like to listen to people or take orders or whatever. So that's her story arc. I mean, people can relate to that. Failing by your own hand, being self-destructive. A self-destructive hero, a female self-destructive hero. I think that could be pretty interesting. The white man is keeping her down. Art, black girl magic. Yeah, it's, you know what? Marvel, Disney, stop it. Been there, done that. You want to change things? Change them. Have these people successful. Have them do well. One of my favorite things of that, I didn't see the last Ghostbusters, but the one before, I think it was called Afterlife. They had, oh my gosh, what is his name? He was the fourth Ghostbuster. Winston. So Winston goes off and he's like a successful businessman. So at the end of the movie, he's like, we're back, and he buys the fire station. And so then he's going to basically, it seemed like I said, I didn't see the other one because it looked really, really bad. But it looked like he was going to reunite the Ghostbusters. There was a reason. There was still paranormal stuff happening. So it was going to be a combination of the old and new. So you had the old training, the new, and then you had this financier that knew what it was like to be a Ghostbuster, knew the benefits of being a Ghostbuster, and was going to finance it. That's great, man. He's a successful businessman. But he wasn't a guy that was living in the ghetto and, trying to make ends meet and trying to, build up from his bootstraps. He was already that character. He was a working class guy looking for a job, got a job, was just happy to have a job, didn't necessarily know what the hell was going on, but he went along with it because on some level he was a hero type. They used to know how to motivate these characters. Like, they don't know how to write heroes anymore. Hurt feelings are lame artifice, is that right? For heroic action. Well, you can't have female characters have any flaws. So that's one of So you're never going to get any interesting female characters anymore if you can't write them with any kind of flaws. So I'm sure Riri will be a victim of circumstance, a victim of the man, and she'll accept no responsibility for any of these situations that she finds herself in. It's horrible. Timmy Amello says it's all intentionally diverse to incite anger for their target audience, an audience of perpetual victims. Yeah, but they're also finding those people aren't spending money. Shrinking audience indeed. Give the people what they want. If she was as smart as Tony Stark, she could have invented something to make. Exactly. I forgot that aspect. I was talking to my wife about all these things. She's a good sounding board, Pamela. And yeah, I said the same thing. Like, why is she poor? Why is she poor? Like, if you took Tony Stark and he was a guy on the street, just a kid with no resources, he could have built himself up, built that company from scratch, and became a multi-billionaire. There's nothing stopping Riri from doing the same. But if you set up that she can't play well with others and that she's self-destructive, then it answers all that, all those questions. Superficial. It's shallow nonsense. Let's see what Flatty1 says. Iron Man was my favorite character and the sole reason I got into comics. And I despise what they've done with that character over the years. They destroyed the character in the early 90s. I liked the like 60s, 70s Iron Man. I stopped reading that stuff, so I don't really remember any of the later stuff. Thunderbolt Ross, indeed. Let me catch up, and then I'm going to grab some lunch and get to work. Yes, you guys, please click this link. Go over there. Check it out. Let's see. Flatty says, yeah, the serious story arc, I felt it worked, but the whole King secret agent, then Teen Tony was miserable, and I hated the Hero Reborn in 98. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the Abomination was also Super Soldier. So six Super Soldier Serum characters. It's time to move on, Marvel. Nobody wants to see Perpetual Victim lifted as a hero. They are actually showing traits of entitled villains. Yes, they are. It's all about me and never about process of being willing to assume the role or sacrifice of heroism, especially when you are the only one around capable of the role. Yeah, it's like the hero being, it's like the reluctant hero, which is always my favorite. It's the guy that has the goods and he's at the right place at the right time. It's kind of like Bruce Willis in Die Hard. He had like this military training. He was a cop, so he kind of wasn't shy about these kind of situations. And he was the only guy that could have done what was needed to be done. And I like that. I like those kind of stories. Black and White's kind of like that too, where I don't want it to be necessarily like, I'm going to be a hero, that kind of thing. It's kind of like they have this backstory. They have this training. Like Reed Blackett has this training. He's ex-MI10, British spy. He doesn't want to be those things anymore. He's kind of lost his taste for those things, and he's trying to get on with his life. And then because of the trauma and the situation that this girl that he has a crush on finds herself into, he realizes that he could help. So so then he gets involved because he can. He's there and he's the only one that has the skills and is is willing to help out. And so I like heroes like that. Ugh. Having a character sort of things out is a great way to develop the character without retelling their origin. Yeah, acts over speech. Oh my gosh, you guys are on fire. All of these Mary Sue characters are perfect people. They do not have inner conflict. It is all external conflict caused by prejudice. Yeah, it's some guy saying, "You're a girl, you can't do it." Also, aren't we done with that storyline as well? Wouldn't it be great to tell a complicated storyline of, like the backstory of like Die Hard? He's he's on the outs with his wife. They have kids. There's a lot of complication. He flew there to reunite with her, and so then, as they say, he's got skin in the game. So he inevitably, is doing everything and motivated to the degree he is to save his wife, and then they find out that they truly love each other at the end. I mean, it it seems overly simplistic, but it works. And I just think that woke and SJW types, they overly complicate everything. Like they can't even cop to that a man is a man and that a woman is a woman. Like their logic, if you can call it that, is very complicated. You know what I mean? So then when they're in power, they tell very complicated stories and stories that don't resonate with people because these aren't real people. These aren't real problems. These aren't things that universally the general audience have lived through, or have experienced. These are things that maybe 1% of 1% of the people in the world have experienced. And I'm not saying those are bad stories to tell, but just don't tell them with something that you expect to have a bigger audience. If you know your audience, then tailor something, your movie, your comics, your whatever, to that audience. But don't expect much. You know what I mean? Because you're playing to a smaller audience. And that's fine if that's what you want to do. But don't be a baby about it when no one supports your bullshit, Like you didn't know that this was going to have a limited audience? Of course you knew. You also had the excuse built in that you were going to call everybody, is and phobes if they didn't like it. But we've been over all that. Yeah, that's storytelling too. Like English teachers always said, show, don't tell. That's comic book storytelling. That's visual storytelling is all about that. Victimhood is boring. Unless that's the character story arc. Like they were a victim, they didn't understand why they were kind of these loser types. They were self-destructive. And then they kind of realize that and then take responsibility and rise above. These are motivating storylines. The MCU needs an Uncle Ben has wisdom and not the jokes about his death. Yeah, with great power comes great responsibility. The poor Tony angle would be a good story. They could do it with Riri Williams. They won't. They won't play it that way. Like rags to riches, they could take it rags to riches. And if you want to make her an endearing character or have some of this stuff like out of her control, like the school thing, not because she's an a-hole, but because I don't know, some kind of budget cut, like the Ghostbusters, they lost their tuition. They lost their jobs basically, you know what I mean? So they had to do something. So their support their support legs or whatever were kicked out from under them. So they had to do something else. And then so they become heroes, you know? So if you wanted Riri to be something that you can relate to, then have like she's a victim of circumstance, but these are normal circumstances. These are things that happen to people. You lose your school money, or something happens in her life that she has to quit school and go take care of her mother or her family or something, you know, something that's honorable, something that's like relatable, you know, that, I mean, we all kind of have these things happen to us, horrible things, you know, accidents, deaths in the family, you know, loss of money, jobs, things like that. These are universal things. And if you bring those into these characters, there's relatability because these are universal human things. But if you have them too perfect and there's no flaws or anything, then there's no relatability. So you're actually doing the character a disservice, your IP, the actress, the movie, your company, everything a disservice, because it's destined not necessarily to fail, but to have less relatability to it, you know? And I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to recreate the hero, you know, for a modern audience based on, you know, activism and these type of ideas. But the thing is, they're hard to relate to because I think to be an activist and try to save the world and stuff, I always think like the ones that are the most effective are people that have something that they can help with, like money or resources or things like that. Like if you're a college student and you're like hell bent to try to change the world, how are you even going to do that? You have no resources. You can barely help yourself. You know what I mean? You're a poor working student. You know, how are you going to help anybody? You can barely help yourself, you know, or you're in college by the grace of somebody's generosity, either your parents or, you know, some kind of scholarships or whatever, you know, or what do they call those, like diversity, you know, you fit the diversity category, you know. So those things aren't really universal. I see Timmy says Dr. Doom was born kind of poor, but he had a dream, ambition, and rage. Yeah, and the rage is kind of like, I'll show you. Like I had a friend that he was like anger and stuff like that. That serves no purpose. It's an emotion. It's an emotion that God gave you. I said, it's valid. And he goes, why? He goes, I don't want to be one of those guys that are motivated by that. I said, sometimes you need it. Sometimes you need that. I'll show you, you know, especially when the odds are really stacked against you. So that rage or that kind of that that anger to put somebody in their place or to show them that you have the goods when they aren't going to give you a chance, whatever. I think sometimes that can be healthy. I think all your emotions are a flip coin, right? They can be good or they can be bad. You could love but you can love too much. You can be angry, but you can be angry too much. You know, you know, compassionate, but too compassionate. You know, you can be all those things. I think all the emotions are double sided. Like there's the yin yang to all those things. I've been working. You're still streaming? Yes. All right. Iron versus iron. That could be cool. See you, man. Have a good rest of the day. Thanks for hanging. I do appreciate it. Leg Kick One says, RT Bear, speaking of, have you seen the documentary of Superman, the Chris Reeve story? It looks fantastic. I saw it advertised. It does look really good. It looks really good. Played a great Clark Kent, good Superman. When used right, anger is focus. It can focus too, yes, like crystal like razor sharp focus. I've experienced that. All right, I am going to go and give you guys one more glimpse at Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too. This is the reason for the season. Let's play this video because it's so glorious, so amazing.
Art T-Bear's Oodles of Doodles and Other Stuff Too is a 60-page, 9x12 hardbound book that will be printed on thick glossy stock paper. It's a compilation of artwork from award-winning artist, Art T-Bear. This book is filled with images that come from Art's Marvel, DC, Image, and Comicsgate work. That includes convention doodles, commissions, creator-owned IPs, and pop culture subjects that Art has brought to life with his masterful draftsmanship. Art T-Bear's signature style is both lyrical and meticulously realized. The mastery of craft, seen in his work, owes itself to his 40 years in the comic industry, as well as viewing life through his own love of the art form itself. Fans of art prints have the opportunity to back one or both of the mini print tiers. Both are stunning collections of work that you can back individually or together as a bundle. Art T-Bear's Oodles of Doodles and Other Stuff Too. Back it now on Indiegogo.
Yes, you guys, back today. Link is in the description. My mods have been putting links in the chat, so check those out, or click those, check those out. Click the link and check out the site if there's something you like. Back it today. We are only 5 days out from closing this live campaign, and the reason that is important is because this new artwork right here is a 40K stretch goal. So if you want 4 new pages added to the book, this is some of the artwork that will be featured. Then let's try to get this thing moving. So 14K, we are so darn close to that. I believe in my heart of hearts that we can do it, but we are running out of time. So we only have 5 days, you guys. So like I said, click that link. Get yourself a 9x12 hardbound 60-page book, soon to be 64 pages if you can hit that stretch goal. A lot of cool prints that you can back different tiers. And keep in mind, signed and numbered book. All the prints come signed, and we have some drawing tiers left. So if you want a doodle in your book on the flyleaf, I can draw black or white or both together. So you guys click that link, check it out. Let's see. We are 12,926. We are stone's throw away from 13. We have 94 backers. So I do appreciate everything that you guys have done, all the support, all the backing, everything. You guys are the best. So I want to tell you all, take care. You guys are the best. And hopefully there'll be a live stream later tonight, and I'll be on the Kings, and I'll probably be talking up more Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too on that live stream, because time is of the essence, as they say. So thanks again, you guys, hanging out. It's been a blast. I love these morning streams. You guys are so good in the chat. You keep things going, and you get me energized. So I'm going to start drawing. I don't know if you can see this. This page right here that I'm working on. So this is a black and white. Look at that villain. Black and white volume 3. So you can see white. See a giant mech. So there's going to be some cool shit happening in this book, you guys. I didn't think we could top, 2 or volume 1 and 2, but 3 and 4 are going to surpass it. Also, I got Pedro Ang, the great Pedro Ang, working on High Octane 2 Electric Boogaloo. He's not just penciling, inking, and coloring. He is also writing the book. So it is the idea is great. I've seen 3 pages of layouts, absolutely fantastic. You guys are going to have a lot to look forward to in October. Also the 30th anniversary for Black and White. So it is going to be a party like none other. So there you go. I'm going to get some lunch, get back to work. You guys take care, and I'll see you tonight on the key.